Hello everyone. Today's topic is digital image processing. Digital image processing, how it can be a topic. This is the name of course. Digital image processing is a subject, is a course name. It's not a topic. But since we are discussing a number of lectures of digital image processing, so this is the topic that will introduce digital image processing. So it's rather introduction to digital image processing. As we have already seen in previous lectures, what do we mean by digital image? Digital image is a two-dimensional signal, two-dimensional function, which has x and y two spatial coordinates. The coordinates x and y of any image indicate the pixel position, the location of pixel, the location of that smallest element inside the picture image. And the amplitude, suppose the function is fxy, f is called as intensity or gray level at that point. Rather, the magnitude of that function, the amplitude of that function will represent intensity value. We also call intensity value as grayscale value or gray level. So what is image processing? It's like other signal processing methods. Other signal processing. In signal processing, what happens? A signal goes through, signal enters through some system. Some operations are performed over the signal and you get some resultant signal. The system produces some output signal. That is signal processing. So in digital image processing, what will happen? The signal is replaced by digital image. It has become digital image processing. So digital image processing is used to process digital images by using computer methods or algorithms. Computer method or computer algorithm will represent that mathematical operation, mathematical function which we want to apply over digital image. So digital image will be processed. Digital image will be processed for certain purposes. We want to improve the quality of image. We want to crop certain area. We want to get some meaningful information from the images. We want to select certain area which is the area of interest, maybe in medical image diagnosis kind of images. We are interested to extract tumor region. So in all these examples and what I have mentioned about processing, image, its property or the image itself changes. Some operation is performed. When we see all image processing, they are in three levels. All image processing tasks are performed in three levels. What are those three levels? The first one is low level image processing. What is low level image processing? In low level image processing, you can see here the input and output both are images. Whereas middle level outputs are attributes extracted from input images. So images are input and outputs are extracted features or attributes. Whereas in high level, an assemblage of recognition of individual objects. So let us understand. There are three levels of image processing. First one is low level, where input is image, output is also image. We'll discuss examples also where this situation will occur. Second is middle level, where input is image, output is some attributes of the image, some suitable features of the image, parameters or some statistical values of the image. Third one is high level, where the input will be those attributes and output will be some understanding, decision making, understanding, some cognitive understanding of the image, knowledge which will come out from the image, but the input is attributes. Let's see the next slide that gives more clear glimpse and the examples as well. We can see that in the low level, input is image, output is image, where the examples are noise removal, image sharpening. Image sharpening means you are interested to sharpen some particular portion of an image. Maybe you want to you want to improve the edges, you want to highlight certain portions, certain areas. Noise removal means the image is noisy. We want to reduce the amount of noise. We want to remove the noise content. What will be input and output? Input will be image, that is a noisy image. What will be output? Output will also be image, that is the image with reduced noise. See the third one, second one, that is mid-level processing, where input is image, output is attributes. For example, object recognition, segmentation. This is, every mobile phone, now a smartphone has biometrics. We just put our fingerprint, finger impression, and then it is recorded. It is authenticated. What is this? This is object recognition. This is the example of biometrics. So what happens when we buy this phone? That time when we just switch it on, then initially in the beginning, it asks us to register the fingers for those who want to be authenticated users of this mobile phone. So what we do? We record our thumb impression or fingerprint impression. What does it do? Does it store our entire fingerprint image? No. Of course it stores, but later what does it do? It extracts some attributes, fingerprint attributes. Fingerprint attributes are ridges, valleys. You can see your finger impression, fingerprint, some curvilinear structures, some valleys, some small thin lines you can see. And from those lines, it extracts some attributes. The system inside the mobile, it does not, but system, that computer method, that suitable training method, machine learning or artificial intelligence. So in this application of biometrics, what happens? That attributes are stored inside the mobile phone. Next time when you again put your fingerprint, it matches your attributes with the attributes which are stored in the database, and it matches, it identifies the person as authenticated user. The third one is high level, where high level is input represent attributes and output is understanding. Suppose you give some, for example, there is an example of autonomous navigation and then scene understanding. There are large amount of scenes, remote sensing application, weather forecasting, a lot of data are captured through satellites. And from those images, attributes are extracted. And in the high level processing, what happens? Based on those attributes, the computer developed some understanding that the weather is not good in that particular region. There is that heavy rain is there taking place. It's heavy raining there somewhere. Weather is not in favorable condition. It is all used to guide the air traffic and all that, and there are numerous applications of weather forecasting, remote sensing applications, satellite imaging and all that, where we capture a lot of data Attributes are extracted, and those attributes help the computer to develop some understanding, to take some decisions, to prompt certain operations. Like autonomous navigation. You just choose your in mobile phone with the help of some your app, you know, a suitable app. What do? We simply choose an address where we want to go. That is destination. How does it take you? It simply navigates and takes you there. You are in your car or taxi, it will take you there in the desired destination. So it's based on the attributes which are there. If we talk about driverless car, what does driverless car do? It drives without assistance of any driver. So it captures thousands of images, millions of images, retrieves the attributes, extract the attributes, and based on attributes, it decides that the road is turning right, road is turning left, this side more crowd is there, so many vehicles are going, then school is coming, school children are going, this side hundreds of trees are there, one tree is has fallen on the road. All these decisions can be made by autonomous driverless car. How? That's a high level image processing. In driverless car, hundreds of sensors are there, and all those sensors are used for different purposes. The ultimate aim is to capture the data, capture the information from wherever the car is traveling, moving ahead. And based on the attributes extracted from those scenes and images, it takes appropriate decision and just keeps on going, keeps on riding on the road. So that is high level image processing. Let's understand how, in image processing, the operation on image is performed. An image can be written as, it's a composition of two components. In previous lecture, we have already discussed illumination component and reflectance component. IXY is the illumination at that point, XY, any point. And FXY is the intensity. And what is RXY? Reflectance or transmittivity. Transmittivity. How much light is transmitted? How much light is reflected? How much intensity is reflected? How much is incident? Is the total illumination, the source of energy is there, light is there, or sunlight is there, the light is incident on an object. How much light is incident is IXY at certain point. How much light it is reflecting back is the reflectance component. And any image is formed, created, image can be seen, image can be visualized only on the basis of these two components, where the illumination component can have two possible values. Lower limit is illumination will be greater than 0, because if there is illumination means there is some source of energy. If there is some source of energy, it means it will have some energy. It means the illumination component will be non-zero. It will be less than infinite. The extremely, the largest amount of energy is that comes from sunlight, that sun itself, but it will be less than infinite. What about R? You see here R is between 0 and 1. It is less than 1, greater than 0. Greater than 0 means it's a positive. Positive means there will be always some reflectance. When you can see an object, it means there is some reflectance. When it does not reflect anything means the object absorbs the complete incident energy or incident light, and the object will look like black object. So when you go inside a dark room, why do you find that dark room as a black room? Because in dark room, an arrangement is made that no light can enter inside the dark room. So therefore there is no reflectance. The light is in fact coming, but because of black color, the complete light is absorbed and no amount of light is reflected back. What about the maximum value? It will be less than 1, means the complete energy will not be reflected. The complete energy will not be reflected. If the complete amount of energy, the whole amount of energy is reflected, the object looks like white color. And if no amount of energy is reflected, the object looks like black color. So this is a basic, the definition of signal, image as a signal. Image is considered as the signal which has two components, illumination component and reflectance. Image can be seen, image can be viewed, image can be visualized only because of reflectance component. The reflectance, for example, the values are given 0.01 for black velvet color. For stainless steel, it is 0.65. For flat white wall paint, that is 0.8. The wall looks like white, but that is not pure white. If it is pure white, it will be 1, but pure white is not possible. Some amount will be absorbed. 0.9 for silver plated metal. The silver plated metal, you see the metals which are plated by silver layer, silver coating. They are also reflectance is 0.9. Still 10% of light is absorbed and 90% is reflected back. For snow, snow which has highest amount of reflectance component, that is 0.93. Only 7% of light is absorbed in the snow, and 93% of light is reflected back, and therefore the snow looks more white in color as compared to wall or silver plated metal. So this is the concept of reflectance. These are necessary things to discuss when we really want to understand how an image is processed in image processing by a number of operations. This slide shows image representation. We have already discussed. An image can be represented as an array of m cross n, where m, you can look at the mathematical expression, m number of rows and n number of columns. Like first element, which is at the top most left corner of the matrix, is F00. It means that the first position of pixel, and then it goes till F0 minus 9 minus 1, 0 comma 9 n minus 1. It means that is the element of first row and the last column. And if you can see, Fm minus 1 n minus 1 is the last element of last row and last column. So these are the different positions. These are the different positions of pixels when the size, the dimension of an image is m cross n. The dimension of an image is m cross n. So what do we mean by digital image? Digital image is nothing but it is interpreted, it is stored inside the computer again as a matrix, where the matrix elements are nothing but some discrete finite values. Like you can see here a1 comma 0, a11, a1 comma n minus 1. So what is a11? A11 is a small a11 is the intensity value of pixel f11. That is the pixel which is in the first row, second row and second column as per this diagram has intensity value a1 comma 1. So every pixel will have certain intensity value, and all those grayscale values, all those brightness values, all those intensity values are stored inside the matrix, and that matrix is actually called as digital image. Because computer does not understand analog image or analog picture, computer understands this variable, this matrix as a variable. Computer only understands these values inside the matrix. And whenever we want to perform any operation over, an image, it means the manipulation The change, either addition, subtraction, multiplication, or any type of change, any type of modification will operate over these values. And then we say that the image is changing, the image is modified, the image is filtered, the image is restored, the image is processed, the image is changing. So this is what is digital image. Digital image is nothing but it's a matrix that contains the grayscale values, where discrete intensity interval will be 0 to L minus 1. What will be the maximum possible value of grayscale values? That is gray level or intensity we can say. What will be the maximum value of intensity? L minus 1, where what is L minus 1? Is 2 to the power k. 2 to the power k. Let us understand with an example. For example, k is equal to 8. Let us understand what is small k. Small k is here the number of bits required to represent 1 pixel. 1 pixel intensity value can be expressed by how many bits? Small k number of bits. So suppose 2 bits are required. What will be the maximum intensity value? 3, because the minimum intensity value will be 0. So here it is 0 to L minus 1, 0 to, for example, k is 8. K is 8. Generally in black and white image, 8 bits are required to store 1 pixel. 8 bits are required to represent intensity of 1 pixel. So in that case, what will be the range of intensity values? 0 to 255. What is the meaning? All the values of pixel intensities will lie between 0 and 255. The darkest pixel will have intensity 0 and the brightest pixel will have intensity 255. It means the white pixel 255, black pixel 0, and all between 0 and 255, all different gray colors and combinations of black and white. Because I have already explained in previous lecture, in digital image processing there are no, black and white are not only 2 colors in black and white image, but there are hundreds of other colors which are combinations of black and white. And this is beauty of digital image and understanding by the computer. We human beings understand, yes, black, white and gray, and then some combinations, some variants of gray. But computer understands more than 200 different variants of gray color. It's because of digitized way of storing the image and interpreting. So how many bits will be stored? How many bits will be required to store an image of dimension m cross n? Obviously, m cross n, total number of pixels multiplied by k, where each pixel is requiring k number of bits. So how many bits will be required to store an image? That is m cross n cross n. Say m and n are, for example, capital M and capital N are, they will have some values, and we multiply that value. Suppose that value becomes M is 1024, capital N is 1024, right? It means 1024 rows, 1024 columns. So 1000 into 1000 in 1 mega, that is 10 to the power 6 or 2 to the power 20. Because 10 to the power 3, 1024 is 2 to the power 10. So 2 to the power 20, 1 mega number of pixels, and each pixel, if k is 8 bits, that is 1 byte. So 1 megabyte. And how do we calculate the storage capacity or the memory space required to store the image? Total number of pixels multiplied by how many bits are required to represent 1 pixel. So if you take 1004 cross 1024, that is 1024 cross 1024 image, each image requiring, each pixel requiring 8 bits, the dimension of the image will be 1 megabyte. 1 megabyte it will require to store. So this is image processing, where we can understand what is image processing. Fxy is the input image, where t represents certain operation, and the t is some operator which is applied over fxy, and we are getting gxy. So this gxy is the output image. T is representing system transfer function. T is representing some operator, because when you pass your input image to some system, some operator, it will do some operation. So this small t is indicating that operation, that transfer function, or that that actually operator. It's acting as an operator. It's not multiplier. It's an operator. If that is a constant, then constant value will be multiplied. But t is representing here as an operator, that is transfer function. And this is called as image processing. And we have already seen, we have already discussed, image processing is of 3 levels: low level, middle level, and high level. So this was about, what do we mean by image processing? What do we mean by digital image again? And what is the concept of the intensity values, and how an image changes when it passes through some system. Now the next part of this lecture will be key components, important components of image processing. So if you look at this diagram, all important components are covered here or shown here. What are those components? The first component is image acquisition, image enhancement, image restoration, morphological processing, segmentation, object recognition, representation and description, image compression, color image processing. Although each component is not a single, it's a single component, it does not mean it's a small topic. Image enhancement is a big, area under image processing. It's a big component. It's not like that image enhancement can be explained, or it's limited only to 2 pages or 3 pages description. No, image enhancement is a broad topic, a broad component, and that is an important component of image processing. Image acquisition, image enhancement, image restoration, morphological operations, or processing, segmentation, object recognition, representation, image compression, color image processing. So what we'll do next, we will understand each one of them briefly, because when we discuss image enhancement separately, it will take even more than 10 lectures. If you really want to understand what is image enhancement, how does image enhancement work, and what happens to the image when it is subjected to some enhancement method. There are hundreds of image enhancement methods, but there are of course some main categories of enhancement, and if you go dividing again and again, you will have hundreds of image enhancement methods. Therefore, I mentioned that enhancement is a broad topic, broad component. So if you can look at in the beginning, problem domain. What do you mean by problem domain? Problem domain means what do we want to do with image processing? Suppose we want to capture a remotely sensed picture, remotely sensed object. What we'll do? What do we want to study? Agricultural image, normal fingerprint, medical images. So that's our problem domain. Problem domain is either we want to process medical images, or some remotely sensed images, or underwater images, or other different types of images. So that's the problem domain. That's the modality which will be acquired by the system. So let us understand these components one by one. See here, the first one is image acquisition. Image acquisition. What is image acquisition? It is very clearly shown here in the slide. And this diagram is a very popular diagram. It is, it represents, you can see that there is a sunlight, and the sunlight is incident on the object. Some amount of light is reflected, and that reflectance component is shown here as a matrix in the form of image inside the computer. What is the process involved? That process involved in acquisition is also shown here. That is sampling and quantization. Sampling and quantization. When you sample the image after capturing through sensor, it assigns the pixel coordinate values, that is their locations, and then grayscale values or intensity values are assigned by quantization. We quantize the signal and we get the grayscale values. So what is image acquisition? In image acquisition, we capture an image, we acquire an image, and that image is then subjected to other stages for different operations. Please remember, image acquisition is the first and very important step or component of an image process. Why? Because when image which is captured by acquisition system will be subjected to either image enhancement, restoration, or segmentation. Therefore, how is the image? What type of the image? What quality of the image? What modality of the image? How it has been captured? Whether it has been properly captured or not? Whether there was proper illumination or not? Whether there was proper pose lighting conditions or not? If lighting condition was poor, if you are taking a person's photograph for certain purpose, the pose with which it was required to be captured was not okay, then it will create problem. For example, you are taking retinal image, retina. You want to take picture of your iris, so you are required to stand in certain position in front of sensor, and for that particular time duration, it will capture your iris image. So image acquisition is though the beginning and first task, but it determines the performance of all remaining tasks in image processing. That's very important. See, talking about image processing, this much is not justified. Image processing, image enhancement, image acquisition itself is a big area. How image is acquired, what are the sensors used, what are the problems in image acquisition, what type of noise signals, what type of imperfections, what type of abnormalities are added in the image while capturing. These are the points of discussion. But what is image acquisition? Let's just sum up. Image acquisition is the stage or a step or a component of image processing where image is captured or acquired. What is more important is how do you capture, what quality of image you capture. That is very important. Therefore, image processing plays an important role in the image process. Let's go to next. If you can see here one diagram that is representing image enhancement. And you can look at the two pictures. In the left side, one picture is there, and in the right side, there is one more picture. And if you look at both the pictures, you will find right side picture, clarity is looking better in right side picture. Whereas in the left side picture, the clarity is not very good. So in terms of image processing, there are many terms and terminologies which come called as intensity, brightness, contrast value. So in input image, I mean the left side image, probably contrast is poor. Therefore, you are not able to distinguish properly the objects which are there. You can, but clarity is not there. And if you go to the second one, then you find that clarity is very good here, and you can count all the objects. You can make out the different, the linings and structure of the objects which are present in the image. So the contrast has been improved, or the agenda is you are enhancing the image quality. So what is image enhancement? This is just an example to demonstrate what is image enhancement. But image enhancement is a broad area where the quality of image is improved. The quality of image is improved. How do we improve the quality? Either by changing the intensity value, either by improving the contrast value, and many more. As I told you, image enhancement is a big area. It's a really big area. Suppose in biometric application, you have seen that when you have some biometric attendance system, you have some biometric attendance system in your office, and when you are going and putting your fingerprint, and fingerprint is dirty, fingertip is dirty, or it is wet, Many times your system does not record your attendance, does not recognize you. Why? Because dirt is there, because water is there. So the dirt element, the water, it makes your image noisy. When it is noisy, the noisy images are not interpreted, they are not understood by the system, a biometric or any other system. So that's a problem. Here you can understand the importance. You can understand the importance of image enhancement. The image enhancement is used to improve the quality of the image. So what you will do, you will pre-process your dirty fingerprint image, and then it will go through the system, and then probably it will recognize. Sometimes it's very much dirty. It's very difficult to remove the in ordinary biometric system, which is installed in most of the offices commonly. If the system is very ordinary biometric, the most, the dirty fingerprints will not be recognized and identified, and therefore attendance will not be authenticated. So image enhancement is the important step that is very much needed when you really want to subject the images for further operations. When you are interested to segment a medical image, and when you are interested to identify a tumor inside, the noise plays an important role. If the image, for example, your chest X-ray or your brain MRI, it's so much noisy, you cannot make out where is tumor or whether tumor is there or not. If tumor is there, where exactly it is located, what is its locality, how much is the dimension, you cannot determine. To remove or to overcome all these challenges, images are pre-processed, image quality is improved, and the area is called as image enhancement. Some enhancement is applied. Enhancement may be in terms of contrast, enhancement. So in image enhancement, actually, I want to make this point here, though we are not discussing image enhancement in detail. Image enhancement aims at two purposes. Number one, we are interested in improving visual perspective. We want to make the image, aesthetically pleasant. If it is for human observation, it is for human visual understanding. We may be interested to have better visual, appearance of the image. Second is computer's perspective, computer's understanding, machine's understanding, or for machine's understanding, machine or computer does not bother about the appearance, beautiful appearance or handsome or smart appearance of the image. Rather, it is interested in whether the system is able to extract the attributes or not. And for that requirement also, image enhancement is. So image enhancement is generally operated in two domains. One in spatial domain, where you can directly manipulate the pixel values, and second in transform domain. You can use Fourier transform, apply Fourier transform to input image, you get Fourier transform, do something, and finally apply inverse Fourier transform, and you can say that the image is denoised image, enhanced image. So the image enhancement can be achieved, can be implemented in two domains, time domain and transform domain. The next stage is image restoration. Image restoration. Mathematically, they are very different, but theoretically, if you understand, look at the first picture and second picture, first picture and second picture, you can probably say that here also we are improving the quality of image. Of course, in restoration also, the quality is improved. But what is more important in restoration, because restoration is a separate topic. Restoration is a separate topic. We'll discuss it separately. Definitely we'll discuss separately. But it is similar to enhancement, but not same as enhancement. Why it is not same as enhancement? Because in enhancement, we remove the noise, we get output noise. But here, what type of noise? How much noise? The quantity and quantification and quality of noise. How much noise, what type of noise is there in the signal? So in other words, we can say that the modeling of noise The analysis of noise is also made in the restoration process. So sometimes what we do in the original image, we add some noise and then we again restore it in order to find the different, the modeling or behavior characteristic of the noise. This is why it's called as restoration. So here also we apply enhancement, but it is not same as enhancement, but something more, something beyond. That the analysis of noise, the characterization of noise is also made, which is not generally done in image enhancement. In image enhancement, what actually we do? We compare whether your enhanced image is better or not in terms of some quantitative statistics, some parameters like PSNR, picture signal to noise ratio, CNR, contrast to noise ratio. Those parameters are used in restoration also. But what is the standard deviation of noise? What is the variance of noise? If noise signal variance changes, what is the effect of the noise in the images? What is the effect of the same filtering method for different variance values of noise? All this analysis is very easily done in the step or the component of image processing called as image restoration. Next component is morphological processing. We'll continue this discussion in next lecture also, because we'll not complete all the discussion on all the components in this lecture. So we'll continue discussing on other components in next class. But let's today discuss about morphological processing also. Again, you can see one diagram, it's very clear. Look at the first diagram, there is a fingerprint image. See the second diagram, it's performing certain operation A exclusive or B, where B is nothing but a mask kind of operation, 111, something like that. And when it performs A exclusive or B, it gets the signal like this. Some again further same operations, exclusive ORing operations are performed, then you are getting this type of output. Can you understand why these operations are performed? Morphological operations are very important in these applications. Can you understand what actually is this application? When you capture your fingerprint, if you are not able to clearly distinguish, if you are not able to clearly differentiate between all the curves and all the lines, where they are joining, where they are bifurcating, you will not be able to differentiate the fingerprint of one person from other person. Because the uniqueness of fingerprint is very high, very high. You cannot find a same finger of other person which has same attributes of your finger. So therefore, it is essential to get the thin lines, the fine details, fine lines. And for that, some morphological operations are performed to clearly highlight, to clearly emphasize, to clearly show the ridges, valleys, and other structures inside the finger. So these are some, logical operations, arithmetic, logical operations like the exclusive ORing or other similar logical operations which are performed with the image in order to either thinning, to apply thinning, or this is why the component is called as morphological. You are interested to produce either dilation effect or thinning effect, and based on that you are interested to highlight the fine little or the smallest amount of details in the fingerprint. That's the idea, and this is called as morphological operation. So as I told you, there are many more components like segmentation, object recognition, representation and description, color image processing, image compression. These are other components which we will discuss in the next lecture. But before we close, let's sum up what we have discussed today. So today's lecture is on introduction to image processing, that is digital image processing. And we started the lecture with, again, what do we mean by, or what is digital image, how it is represented. It is represented using two components, illumination and reflectance. Image can be seen because of reflectance component. Image is stored inside the computer as a digital image. We call digital image as a digital image because all the values The intensity or gray levels which are stored inside the computer, they are discrete finite value. Therefore, because of discrete values, we can also call it as discrete image. But each discrete value is represented by a certain number of bits. And those bits are again zeros and ones. And therefore, the signal is called as digital. Then we talked about image processing. When you perform certain operation on image over an image, that will be called as image processing. And then when you apply certain image processing task, some nature, some characteristic, or an entire image may also change. And for that purpose, for different applications, different types of operations are performed. And then we discussed about different components of image processing. Image processing has few key components like image acquisition, enhancement, restoration, morphological operation, segmentation, object recognition, representation, color image processing, image compression. So all these components, any one of the component itself is a big component which covers broad scope of image processing. So we cannot discuss each component in 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but we are just discussing as an introduction of image processing each component briefly. So we have discussed image acquisition, which is used to acquire the image, enhancement used to improve the quality of the image and remove the noise, restoration, we remove the noise as well as do the modeling of noise signal, and morphological operations, we can get the theme